Welcome, everybody, to the Works Plus TechTalk podcast, where we delve into all things polished concrete and then some. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, a internet sensation, Jake Plunkett from Grindstones. You probably already know him, and he is in the studio with us all the way down from Canberra. Jake, welcome to the TechTalk podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Man, you're down here for what, a day?
I flew in yesterday, so I left Canberra at 1:45, arrived in Melbourne at 3 o'clock, and then went and visited Rock Up Group.
Awesome.
Which was awesome. A good opportunity to catch up with Danny, and then had a bit of a cruisy night last night, and then come past for the podcast and to see you all.
Oh, aren't we blessed?
Yeah, I'm blown away. This is legit. It's legit. The factory's huge. There's so much equipment here. Even just looking at the offices and everything, it's like it's an incredible company.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of good things happening. After this, I'm going to make my way over to Zingy to have a look at some machinery as well.
Off to China?
Yeah, I'm going to go straight direct to China. Nah, they're actually traveling around the country at the moment doing some exhibitions. So I'm going to go and have a look and see what they've got to offer as well.
And they're in Melbourne today?
They're in Melbourne today. Yep, they're in Melbourne today. So.
Oh, you're jamming a lot into a trip?
Yeah, it's not often that I get away from Canberra to do something like this. So I thought Melbourne's a bit of a hub for innovation, and a lot of good polishers have come out of here. So I try and fill my days up with catching up with people.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's really great. And so, just to give our listeners a bit of a background on the Plunkett story, where you're at today. We were talking earlier. You've got 5 guys. Is that right?
Correct.
All right.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's us at the moment is Tom, Eric, myself. We've recently downsized with one person, but we have another casual employee working with us.
Yep.
And then Brendan, my father, he's back with the crew as well. So he's working with us as well, which is good.
That's fantastic. So give us some background of Grindstone Reflections and then tell us the future.
I can't start on Grindstones Reflections until I talk about the history with Grindstones Australia, which was my father's company and his business partner's company. I just have I grew up around polished concrete. They started off tiling. Dad was a tiler for over 20 years. For 20 years. And then they pushed into starting to do some grinding. And I guess not long after that is probably when they started to associate with King Concepts.
Yep.
They pretty much ran the Canberra market for a long period of time because they were such early adopters of really good equipment. They also had a background in tiling and they were hardworking and quite clever. And did a really good job. I think if I really think about it, they helped pioneer the industry as well. They've done some incredible projects. They weren't as lucky as someone starting now or like someone in the industry now who has like a plethora of information and education to tap into.
Yeah, that's a debate in and of itself, isn't it? Like, you're not as lucky, and I think that's the same for anything. Like you said, they really pioneered the industry, particularly in that Canberra area.
Yeah.
And that's a really scary thing, making that commitment to buying all that machinery and tooling when it was its most expensive.
Yeah.
And then also having to feed that, and the industry doesn't even understand your value proposition or what you do.
Yeah.
Versus today, everyone knows what that is, and they pick up the phone. They got to choose from a bunch of people.
Yeah,
so the challenges I think are different.
Yeah, different. I know, like just talking to Dad about some of the issues that they faced. Like we had this conversation recently when they ordered the grinder and they also ordered the floor stripper, the twister, and I think they called you guys up and they were going to pull the pin on the twister.
That's right.
I think they said, nah, we're not doing it. And they're like, you've ordered the machine. It's on its way over here. And I remember being there when they unwrapped that machine. I remember like I must have been very young. That's it'd be close to 20 years ago.
Easily.
Yeah. So yeah. And I was just a young kid and the first job they landed was a monster. And it was go time from then. So, they were real pioneers in the industry. I truly am like blessed and privileged to work under them. And that's where I cut my teeth on what not to do. I made every mistake under the sun. I was really just a kid when I started. I had a photo pop up in my memories on Facebook recently and it was from 2011. Mm-hmm. And I remember it being my first work experience that I did at school. So I was probably in year 7 and at the time we weren't as good with dust control and we used to squeegee any excess dust into piles and scoop it up. And I know could be triggering for some people, but that is what happened. And I drew a huge penis out of the dust. And you know what? It's so ridiculous and it's so funny, but that's how young I was. Like I've literally grown up around this. Like
you're only drawing small ones now.
Now anyway. It's just funny because I truly was a kid and I've been lucky to be around it. And hasn't always been easy. There's been stages and times where I absolutely resented polished concrete and I hated it and I didn't want to do it anymore. But I have a completely different relationship with it now and it's something that, I truly love. So, it's good.
That's interesting. What was it that you hated about it?
Work dynamics, a lot of different things. It's like that. I felt like when I worked for Grindstones Australia, we had a really good culture in terms of we had a lot of fun and but it was also more of an old school culture. It wasn't as open as my business is now. There wasn't to be quite honest, I felt like I was sort of like banging my head against the wall a lot of the time where I had ideas and I had things that I would like to implement, but I wasn't in a position to do that because quite directly, and it's true, like it wasn't my company. Like it wasn't my company. It was like I was a part of the company, but I felt as though I had a lot of ideas and there were things that I really would have liked to focus on or ways that I would like to take things. And if you're on a grinder, we all know if you've spent time on a grinder that you can find yourself in negative feedback loops. You can get yourself into difficult positions mentally and they will just grow and build and build and build. And I went through that where it was like, I'm not enjoying work anymore. Yeah. It's actually a hard job.
It is. It's a mentally testing occupation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's extremely testing. And I just at stages just thought to myself, like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. But I still, if I'm going to be honest, I didn't have it in me to do anything else. Like really, like I was so immersed in it and I've been around it for such a long time and I was good at it. And it was like, I'll just wait. I'm still young. That's what it was. It was like, I'm still young. I remember writing down in a diary, like, when I was really struggling with it, all the things that I was grateful for and all the opportunities that had been given to me. So just trying to like reframe and reshift my mental state on the position that I was in at the time. So it was like, you feel like you're hitting your head against the wall. Yeah, you might not be happy with certain things or the way that you feel at work, but like truly be grateful for the opportunity that you've been given, learn as much as you can. And at some stage, at some time, you're going to have the ability and opportunity to run your own company and do your own things. So sort of put my time in, did what I needed to do. We had a lot of fun. Yeah. We had a lot of fun. Me and Thomas Wormwood especially, we had a lot of fun. We laughed and did a lot of silly stuff and got a lot of incredible jobs done as well, and really learned how to really cut our teeth together in a big way through Grindstones Australia.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'd agree. So would you consider yourself then an entrepreneur?
Nah. The person that I am right now is not the person that I was 6 weeks ago. Especially say 3 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago, like, I wouldn't have considered myself an entrepreneur when I was working for Grindstones Australia. I actually viewed myself in a way that I sort of took like the easy route and just did what Dad was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to, I reflect a lot, hence Grindstones Reflections. It's not just shiny floors. It's just like how I view my life. And I look back on what I've achieved, and it's like, I guess I could say that I'm forward moving. I'm interested in growth. I'm interested in personal development. So I don't know if I'd label myself as an entrepreneur, but I'm definitely forward thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're just going to do it instead. We're going to label you.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm on a journey. I've got a lot of ideas, a lot of things that I want to do. So yeah, call it what you will.
Fair enough. So, I mean, we had a big conversation before we got into this room.
I know.
Right?
Could have been a podcast in itself. It was really, yeah, you go. Sorry.
Well, all the gold nuggets seem to happen before and after the podcast, but I'm going to try and drag some into the podcast this time. And when we came into this room, I told you that one of the conditions was that there's no secrets. Do you remember we saying that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I'm kidding. It's, you get to share whatever you want to. You can pass on whatever you want to as well. But I guess you're already pretty open. Like, I mean, you've just shared with us some of the really personal aspects of carrying a business, which I think is great. And thank you for that. What I also wanted to ask you about is, you're also quite present in social media, and you were saying to me before the podcast that you kind of need to be these days. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I can. Just tapping into that secrets comment. Yeah, I'll talk about that as well. I thought about how I want to hold myself during this podcast, and I know how I hold myself with relationships and with people in general, and I'm an open, honest and transparent person. Yeah. I don't necessarily need to go into means of like exactly like what we do, but I like to lead with honesty and transparency. So I'll just say it. There's a huge cultural shift happening right now. I don't necessarily think that the old school approach of word of mouth is necessarily the right direction to go. We're also connected by our phones. If anything, we're all addicted to our phones. And people are constantly looking at their phones. They're looking at what's happening. And whether you like it or not, there's these incredible algorithms that will push you into things that you either enjoy to watch, or they'll push you towards things that are happening in your area. And it's like, word of mouth and the old school approach, I don't think it's as good as moving with technology.
It's got some competition.
Yeah, it's got some absolute competition. So real eye-opener for me, and something that made me feel as though I was going to make a bigger commitment to social media was when I priced 2 projects of substantial value, big residential homes, and I hadn't met the people. I'd had phone conversations with them. I don't want to discount myself. Like, a phone conversation with me, and when I'm onboarding someone, our onboarding process is really good. I push for information, for education, and I want to empower them to make their own decisions. So anyway, put forward the pricing after having those conversations, did our standard onboarding process, and they went onto our social media and just went like, and then accept. and it was like 2 major projects, 2 phone conversations, 6 likes. So they like 3 posts each and 2 accepted quotes. And I was like,
wow,
there's something to it. So yeah.
That's unreal.
Well, yeah, I think that's a secret. I don't know. I think that the writing's on the wall. People want to connect. People are connected to their phones. And I think that branding is important.
I would have to agree with you.
Yeah, you're big for branding. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, that was we and the part of the motivation for I guess Works Plus becoming a whole lot more aggressive on social media, if you like, or proactive, was actually when COVID hit and we were basically told that we weren't going to be able to communicate. We weren't going to be able to see face to face and that sort of stuff. And a lot of what we were building in the industry was relationships and was being face to face and connecting. And like you said before, being on a grinder all the time can be really challenging and hard work mentally.
Yeah,
and you would know. You've only got to talk to someone else in the industry that can relate, but they can also pick you up off the floor pretty quickly because they understand.
They get it. Yeah.
And so, keeping relationships was going to be very important to us, and also education to ensure that people could, often the things that bring you down the job is the challenge that's in front of you that is the job.
Yeah.
So it was very important for us to maintain that connectivity and also the education. That's kind of what made us push a whole lot harder on that technology. And then we come out the other end and it's like, oh, we can't stop now. We've got a long way to go.
I'll make one note to that as well is it's a part of the toolkit.
Yeah.
So like you can have a social media presence, but you need to back it up.
Yeah.
With quality. And it's like the work needs to be good. Like you don't create a big brand and then have work come in or not have the social face-to-face contact either. So people people do want that face-to-face human connection. It's just that the social media aspect is like just creating that first link. It's like creating
warming the lead.
Yeah, warming it. And then it's like when you're having the conversation or when you're doing the work, it's like, let's execute on it. Like people are using Grindstones Reflections because of the work that we're doing. They're using it because of the open, honest, transparent way that we hold ourselves, because when we're on site, we're having we're not just work focused, we're also relationship focused.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd note that. And I'd also note that for all the sales reps in the industry as well. Like you can be on social media, but until you rock up to my site and until we start having like genuine connection and conversation and really talking through things like, I'm not necessarily going to buy your stuff because like I want that personal connection. That's where Milan got me. I sat on the floor van with Milan when it was like the first couple of months of starting the business. I didn't even have an employee and I just sat there talking about life and my struggles, and he just sat and listened and talked, and it's good. I don't talk about my struggles for sympathy or empathy or anything like that. I talk about it to wrestle with the idea of it, to understand it, and then to create a pathway forward. So he was there for me, and he's been like my OG supplier. He's the man. And one more note to that is that other suppliers do come and see me now.
Yeah.
And they're putting in a lot of time. And when they do that, it's like, yes, I'm going to try out your diamond tooling. So I think it's really important. Yeah. Make sure you guys keep on your toes.
Well, Milan's a good listener.
But competition is incredible for innovation. I think it's necessary. It keeps a fair market, and it holds suppliers accountable as well. It's like, the more competition, the better, I think. I think it's really important. Yeah, for sure.
Good competition.
Bad competition's fine. We can just
bad competition.
It creates a dynamic and a structure of like
it separates the
it separates.
the
It's
the
like
bad,
when all the new silica legislation came into place, it was like, wow, like this is like overwhelming. This is full on. And I was like, hang on, we do everything correctly. Like I know how to operate a grinder so the dust doesn't come out from underneath it. Like I know
squeegee.
Like I've done it the other way. Like I've been a dust monkey. Like we didn't get it. We didn't understand it. We didn't know what we were doing. And it's like, I understand now how to do that. And it's like, let's make an investment in new vacuums.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so our competition now isn't doing what we're doing. And so it creates a dynamic and a shift where it's like, we're a premium product. We're doing things properly. We understand it. And it's like, so competition's great.
You actually use the legislation to separate yourself.
Well, yeah, correct. It's like competition's incredible. It's like you can either pay this much for this guy who's doing this, or you can pay this much for us because we're doing it properly. So yeah, big fan of bad competition.
Well, I might get back in the game then.
Classic. Yeah.
Oh, well, I want to go back to the social media thing that we were talking about before, and competition, right? And I want to talk about that a little bit more. I mean, so just when we were setting up before, I said, hey, you were setting up your phone and we were talking about, everyone's got one. Right? Yeah. Not everyone chooses to use one, right? So I guess and then you were talking about as far as content creation and the quality of it and all that sort of stuff as well. I wanted to just touch on, if everyone has great social media for their business, then what?
Define great social media.
High quality, all looks as good as Grindstone Reflections.
What image are you trying to portray to the people? That's
kind of what I'm getting to.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's subjective. Like what do you want to portray to the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit before the podcast as well. We're out in the factory. We're talking about market conditions and that type of stuff, sales, and now we're talking about image. What are we trying to portray?
Yeah.
And that type of stuff. And I said to you, these points are not new to me, and I've been hearing them more now in the last 3 or 4 months from the market than ever.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of competition, and the market is looking for value.
Yeah.
And the question for me is, how do you, as a company, communicate your values and articulate your values to the customer that you don't actually even know yet?
Yeah.
Sorry. And in order to attract the type of customer that you're after.
Yeah. So it's not easy. And I don't have the answer, but I could probably elaborate a little bit. So for me, it's like working out, first of all, it's like we can do good work. So we're showing that. Yep. It's like we can do good work. We can do good work. But people don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but people have seen enough polished concrete floors now.
Yeah, probably. Good and bad.
Good and bad.
So they're pretty well educated.
So what? The next shift is, how do you do polished concrete floors? And it's but people soon, and not that I've done that, but you start to show a little bit of process. I think we've had 6 million views in the last 6 weeks. So
what were they looking at?
My hand.
I was going to say the hand work?
The hand grinding work.
Which I thought was fantastic. Like you said.
And Tom's forearm.
Like you said, people have probably seen enough polished concrete, but they don't know what goes into it. And I thought that little reel of the handwork showed what genuine skill looks like.
It's so funny though, because the more you know about polished concrete and operating, the more like detailed and fine it gets. So like you can put up a video of anything, but there's so much behind that. Like there's nearly 14 years of hand grinding behind that movement.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of funny and it's fun to like put up a video and like, you know, like the hand grinding ones are popping off at the moment. But like people just see a hand grinder, but they don't know what tooling you're using and all those things as well. So it's just interesting. I've had people pull me over, like a builder recently. He's like, me and my wife love watching those videos. Like we love watching them. It's so funny. It's just a hand grinder. Yeah. So for me though, those things are like, let's just bring in views. Like, let's create a presence. Let's create like, people are watching. And then every now and then it's like you have a bit of a platform now. Not that I have a platform. Like I think we have like 1,300 followers or something. It's like not a very big amount of people.
How many clients do you want?
Well, yeah, no, that's interesting. And to be quite frank, before I went to Vegas, I had 500. So
yeah. Wow.
It's nearly 3x this in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
So every now and then you can throw out a bit of a hook, and yeah.
Well, we also had Jake Long from Premium, and he also did a repair video which Brandon videoed for him. And that's had over 1 million.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Like, what's going on here? We just do the small jobs from now on because they seem to pay.
Yeah, I know. I just like, it just makes me laugh because I've just got my phone and I'm just like, I'm just gonna video this me moving the hand grinder through concrete and people enjoy it. So there's a lot to think about that though. It's not a small thing. To have 2.5 million people watch a hand grinder cut through concrete. Well, there's something there.
I agree with you. And I kind of feel like as far as we talk about a competitive landscape right now, enough people have seen polished concrete. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But they're not educated as to the process as well. And I've heard it so many times that, you know, people said, oh, you know, I got nickeled and dimed on the price, and then I got to the job, we did the job, and we got through the first day, and the client came home and they were like, oh, you're not finished yet. And it's like, we've just done first cut.
Yeah.
There's another 12 stages in this process, and they're like, really? And it's like, well, how did you sell this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No. And that's like the ethos for us. It's like I've had the conversations with the client on, and this is when I'm a kid, like when I'm so much younger, where I've done a floor to the spec, like a partial exposure.
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation with a grown man and lady in a multi-million-dollar home, and they're going, why is there rock here and why is there no rock there, and we don't like the floor? And I'm like, there's a real disconnect here. There's a real disconnect. And I'm like, I never want to feel like this again. I never want to do this again. Dad.
Out comes the journal. Out comes the journal.
No, but like seriously. And that's been, see, this is the secrets thing. It's like, but I'm leading with transparency and honesty. It's just, it's who I am. It's like, how can I educate and inform people and empower them to make the right decisions for their home?
Yeah.
And it's not easy. Sometimes you have to have difficult conversations and reset expectations and things like that, but it's a good way to do things. I feel confident enough in Grindstones Reflections capabilities and our position in the market to be able to be honest and transparent. So we have multiple competent technicians, and we can output really good quality floors in a fast and efficient time. I don't think there's many other people in our region that can do that. So the only reason I say that is like, this wrestle between being honest about what we do and how we do it, and giving that to the world. But it's like, we're good at what we do. We back up and execute on what we're going to do. And when we have issues and concerns and things go wrong, we go back and we fix it.
Mm-hmm. Now it's, I can, it's funny. It's funny about the honesty thing, the openness, because it kind of feels like it's a really hard thing to do. Scary.
Well, it's not how I was, it's not what culture was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
And even more so in our industry, everything. I mean, I remember 15 years ago, everyone had their secrets of how everything was done.
Yeah.
And even we did. I mean, we had a national contracting company. Well, cut that out, Brett. And we still do, right? Mm. So that's part of the point as well. Is that we have another company that I'm not really involved in running. Yeah. Right. But they're out there doing really big work. Yeah. And you would think that having a supply company and a contracting company would create some friction, particularly when I've got a brother who's running that. Yeah. And we're over here running this one. We're related. And then it's like, well, we've got a whole bunch of things going on over here. Yeah. Right. And it's like then from the outside, the market looks at Works Plus and goes, yeah, but you've got that thing, but you've got that. You're competing with us out in the street. Cool. Well, that's a conversation that we need to have. Yeah. Right? We went from having that kind of tiptoeing around to begin with to, okay, this is going to be problematic. Yeah. Unless we're completely honest. Yeah. And we used to do a seminar where we just taught the basics, followed the script, and that was it, which was good. It was valuable, but it didn't really sit that well with me in particular because we just really wanted to see the market move. Yeah. And if you're capping yourself, it doesn't move. Yeah. And we basically had a conversation about the position that we were in and where we want the industry to go. And then we just created a no secrets policy. Yeah. And the policy became, if we know anything about the problem that you've got that you're facing on site when you call up. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
What a shift.
Whatever I know. Yeah. Whatever I know. Yeah. You have access to.
Yeah. It's like open source compared to closed source.
And the industry just went.
It just went on.
When we just said no secrets, because the other thing was everyone was holding their cards pretty close to their chest as well. And everyone had their secret formulas for their business. Yeah. And I guess when we started just saying, ask us anything, we'll tell you. Yeah. People kind of felt comfortable to do that with their own business. And then the knock-on effect was that the other guy down the road, there's a few other things to this as well. Yeah. The guy down the road called up and he was having an issue and he said, it's okay. This is what I would do in that situation. So the knock-on effect was that everyone built the industry to the next level together. And I'm not saying it was us that did it. It was just that, guys, don't hold secrets. Help the guy. Well, the real competition is not the guy on a grinder.
Yeah, it's a culture shift. And like, what do I think about it? I think it's the right thing to do. Maybe it'll stop people from struggling so much on site.
Absolutely.
Because like at the end of the day, we're all like humans and it's like polishing concrete's hard. And I used to say like, you're not, it's so funny, but it's not funny. It's like, you're not like a true polished concrete master until you've had a mental breakdown and come back. Yes. And the comeback is like what you need to focus on there. It's like a lot of people don't come back. Yeah. A lot of people leave the industry. And like when I was working for Grindstones Australia, like I was blessed that it was a family business. And it was like, although I thought of leaving, I felt as though my future was tied up in that company, like, or my future was going to be revolved around doing polished concrete. But for other people, who had the breakdowns and left. It's like, that's why we didn't have employee retention. The only employees that we could keep around for Grindstones Australia were, anyway, it wasn't the demographic of people that I would like to associate with or that I would like in my business.
Yeah.
And so when I've started my company, it's like open communication, honesty, transparency. And it's like, that's what's formed our culture. And that's why that's created a dynamic where we're all like, even Dad now, he hated polished concrete. Like, so this is a great example. So he's going through this like extreme change right now where if you asked him 12 months ago what he thought about polished concrete, like you could just see it trigger him. Like he had a negative association with it because I think he got to a point where he was over it and where he'd been through the struggles. And why Grindstones Australia worked really well was Thomas and I came in fresh and clean and open and new and optimistic and
energy.
Yeah. And Dad and his business partner, Alan, they were on the back end of they'd pioneered the industry and like we came through, connected with Works Plus and it started to get easy. And for Dad, he was like, I'm done. Like I'm done. But now because of the culture that we have at Grindstones Reflections, he's excited again. Like he's relearning how to polish concrete and it's changed so much. It's changed so much. So we have this like really curious culture of like I just learned this. Like if you do it like this, or if like let's change the tooling to try this. And everyone's like really optimistic and excited when we're on jobs. And it's like, it's so funny. Like I'm getting so excited thinking about it. Because we have so much fun conquering each job together because we're continually learning and teaching each other and pushing to be faster and pushing to be better. And it's really good because I remember what it used to be like where even in our team, like for the first 10 years, there was even skepticism in people teaching each other when we worked for the same company. Straight. Thomas Wormold, if you ever watch this, I remember him saying to me, he said to me that I'd been there for like 4 years, and the first 2 or 3 years, I became one with the hand grinder. Like if you looked at me, I looked like a hand grinder. I was hand grinder, and he said that he didn't want to teach me because he hadn't been fully open about teaching me because he wanted to make sure I didn't take his job. Like he was my brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the culture shift. That's the change that's happened. And like I said before, it's like I feel confident enough in where we're at and where we're going. And like I've got ideas. We have a young team who's like enthusiastic and the boys are like positioned to take off and they've got opportunity to grow in the company and they've got opportunities to teach people in the company. So it's like I feel confident enough in our position and where we're going to be open and transparent.
That makes you guys really hard to compete with though. For anyone else who doesn't have that same type of culture. It's probably new school and it's like, it's sort of icks. There's like a part of me like internally that like icks. It's like, don't be so open and honest, but imagine if we kept the wheel a secret.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I know, but you're like, it's good if you can, if it's helping other people and it's making their life easier and they don't have to have mental breakdowns on site anymore, then
keeping the secret is a fear mentality though, right?
Yeah, correct. It's like I've heard this before. It's like win, help win, or like win, let win. So like you can win and then help and let other people win as well, rather than like, you know, like win and then keep it to yourself. And as you help other people, you create an energy, I think, where people want to help you and everyone goes up together.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's like what you said before, as far as competition and innovation. If you really want a industry to thrive and to innovate fast, well, the more that everyone knows about what they're doing, the faster you innovate. Otherwise, you're kind of always down here at prep.
Yeah. And it keeps you on your toes too. You're like, I better get back to work and start learning some new shit.
I know. In the hour that you've been in this podcast,
actually, I did talk to the boys about this, and I made that conscious decision of like, I'm not going to tell like no means like it's not going to be like, this is what tooling we're using. Like, this is how we do it. It's like, maybe if someone called me and they were struggling and they needed help, like I'd give them a suggestion. And like, I do that with people all the time. I have relationships with every single company in Canberra, bar one. And we can call each other and we can chat. And if we had a big project get shifted 2 weeks and I called up Rough Rock. And for me to talk to Rough Rock 10 years ago, would not happen. And they gave us, like they said, yeah, we've got a job that's sitting there. You can go and start it. And when they've been in a position where they've had machinery issues, it's like, here, come and grab the machine. I wouldn't hire out machines again, though. That's a rule that we've had to establish. But it's like, you don't have to give them the world, but it is good to help out people.
Yeah.
Well, without giving it all away. Yeah. Because we've worked hard to understand polished concrete. Yeah.
And they call the wrong person because I'm going to tell them everything. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, well, but you guys don't know what we know.
Correct.
Yeah. And like, that sounds funny, but yeah.
Well, you're making your own product.
We're making our own product as well. And we're not doing what we learned at the seminar. Like we came to the seminar and we learned things, and we've learned things from Rock Up Group, but a lot of the things that you learn are from doing, and what we do on a commercial floor is completely different to what we do when we're delivering our high-end residential floors. Yeah. And it's like,
what better be?
Well, yeah, you'd think so. And like, we have, like, some of the tools that I've had for a very long, like, we have the plethora of tooling and little tricks and tips and things like that can make your job so much easier and faster. So yeah, it's cool. It's good.
You still using 600 grit metals?
Oh, I've still got them. Hey, I should have brought them. The 600 grit metals. We couldn't, like, I would sit there for ages and I couldn't even get diamonds off the plates. They were seized to it.
The old bolt-ons?
Yeah, the bolt-ons.
Trapezoids.
So it might look like we're like fully, like I'm fully immersed in polished concrete, but I feel truly blessed to also have the time on my alternating weeks where I have the kids. Yep. So I've got my kids 50-50 and I do 9 a.m. drop-offs and 3 p.m. pickups.
Well, that's kind of one of the things that I was going to touch on, but we moved away from it. When having the openness in your team, you're building a true team, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that comes the whole, most people think I've got a job 9 to 5. That's when the boss owns me, kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And that can create that resentment.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Where your culture seems to be, hey, this is what everyone is the skills are at right now. This is what they're capable of giving the team time-wise. I'm not talking about the company, but the team.
Yeah.
Everyone's engaged because everyone's growing.
Yeah.
And when you're growing, you're engaged.
Yeah.
And then there's the other thing, the whole personal element that you're really big on is that, hey, this is what I can give you personally from my time, but this is also what I need from the team.
Correct.
In order for us all to function the way that we are. I mean, you talk about your team when they get on site and the way that they work together and they show each other everything, right? Mm-hmm. This is like a well-oiled machine, but it's a team that's growing.
Yeah.
Right? And you've got a whole bunch of systems and processes that you guys do that everyone else doesn't, but that's kind of because of the way that your team works together and looks out for each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got your kids 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real dynamic.
Yeah.
That doesn't fit into my boss earns me 9 to 5.
Yeah, no,
right?
correct. Yeah.
And you've been talking about how business is different these days to what it was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that I've noticed from the way that you do business is that everyone here is a team. Mm-hmm. Everyone's bringing something, but everyone needs to go home with something as well.
Yeah. Work is work. Like, I love work, but who am I to expect my employees to love it as much as I do? But they do.
Yeah, it's unreal.
They really do. But I've been clear from the start. Like, I genuinely, honestly, I don't want you to be a part of the company unless you really want to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I really want you to be there. And it's like, I feel as though it's a privilege to be a part of Grindstones Reflections. And like, if you spoke to my dad and the way he talks about how, like, sometimes he says, like, I don't think they realize how good they've got it.
He said that to me when I saw him a couple months ago. Yeah.
That might not be, that's not directed at the people who are there right now, because they show up every day.
Yeah.
And they know that I think they know that they've got it good, and that's why they put in big time. But where I was going with I don't expect them to love it as much as I do is there's other things that light people up and excite them. And that needs to be a priority for them as well. So, like, if they're going to show up for me at work, and they're going to put in and they're going to come there with a good attitude. And then they say to me, oh, can I have the day off? Or this is blah, blah, blah is a priority to me. It's like, yes, go. Like, work is important. It's important that you enjoy it. But like, I want you to feel like you have other parts of your life that are really important as well, so that I can give you the opportunity to see those through. Like, if Eric asks if he can do something like with the kids for school assembly or something like that, I'm like, yes, go. Like, I want you to go. I want you to be a part of that. And I do that probably because, like I was saying before, like, I have my kids 50-50 and they're my priority.
Yeah.
Like, the relationship I have with my kids is very incredible. Far out. They light me up. Hey, I love them. And they're nearly 6 and 4. And the being able to drop my kids to school and pick my kids up, like, that's an incredible thing. Like, that is so lucky. And that's one of the biggest privileges with running the business, is like being able to have that connection and relationship with my kids. But because I get to enjoy that, I'm very accommodating to the fact that the boys are there stepping up for me so that I can do that. And if there's anything that they need from me, I'm going to be there to support that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all there for each other. I think we all love each other. I do. I love the boys. They're legends. They're really good. So, yeah. And I love my old man too. Brendo's doing well. He's like the old, he's like the wise elder.
It was funny when I saw him in Sydney earlier this year, and he's not real good at tech, is he?
No, he's hopeless. He still has never done a timesheet. I'm just like, Dad, I like, if you want to get paid for overtime, fill in your timesheet. But also, he's got a lot of leave. So anyway, he just does. He's not good with tech. He's trying though. He's so curious, and like, he goes down these rabbit holes and finds all these really like incredible things. But for some reason, the tech thing hasn't clicked yet. Classic.
So that's been really interesting to get a good insight into your business and also into you personally. Is there anything you can tell us, like, secrets? Where to from now? Is this where you're maintaining where you're at, or you said you like growing?
No, learning? So it's so funny. that's one of the reasons why I'm away too. It's like my goals for 2025 were to have 2 established teams functioning. And like they are functioning, they're getting things done. Like we're moving through a lot of work. The other goal was to have somebody helping with admin, which Jody, she started about 3.5 months ago.
How does that feel?
Oh man, I love her. She's been helping implement systems in the business as well for just, all sorts of different things. And that's created a dynamic where I'm able to be back on the tools more. And like, I enjoy being on the tools. I enjoy being in the team dynamic. Like I'm in like I'm in peak grinding and polishing form right now. So it's been a good opportunity to do that. And why I say that is, the amount of people that I employ it's down by 1 at the moment. When at this time last year, we were doing the Tuggeranong skate park. It was 2,500 square meters, 450 square meters of vertical ramps. We hand ground 450 square meters of ramps. 450 square meters, 4,500 square feet.
A 5-inch or a 7-inch?
We used 9 inches for majority of it. And then we set up like scaffolding and a few different bits and pieces to do hard to reach spaces. But at that time we had that project running and another 2 smaller jobs going. So there was 8 people working. So when we're on bigger jobs, we'll scale up with contractors. We have some people that we can tap into, not necessarily polishing based contractors, but people who can help with labor and who understand how to operate a grinder. But if you look to now, our team's smaller than it's been in the last 18 months, but our output and for me, growth. So first of all, our output is right now is more. And when I think of growth in individuals. So our employees, the people operating the machines, they have grown. They know how to polish concrete. Like they are moving through things faster. It's like our office infrastructure, it's grown. Our ideas, our cohesion, our output is growing, but we're not necessarily employing more people. So that's exciting. That's really good. And another thing that generally happens is we become, let me just wrestle with this and think about it. I become comfortable with the position that we're in and find like that homeostasis. It's like, I feel good here. And then we scale up and we push up and out and it's like taking off out of the blocks. And I'm like, I still feel confident, but this is getting a bit wild. And we grasp and hold on. And then that becomes the new, it might actually not become the baseline yet. We might push up and then we'll just like feather back down. But I know that the next time we spring load up, that I'm going to have absolute confidence in where we're at. So right now we are just like, we're like right here and we're just ready to take off again. Well, so I'm really excited about the next 6 months or year. And I was saying that when I leave Canberra and when I come and immerse myself with the industry, with other people and start having these conversations, a lot of things are happening in my mind where I'm like starting to paint a picture, like what's the next 6 months look like? I've had some really good conversations with you about machinery. I've had some good conversations with Rock Up Group. I'm going to go and have good conversations with Zingy, and it's like a lot of things will consolidate over the next, I'll tell you what, in the next 8 hours, I'll have a clearer vision of what our future is going to look like. And that's just because I've been able to step back and get away from
spending some time on the business rather than in it.
Yeah, correct. That's correct. And I do spend a lot of time on the business, but majority of the time is in the business. Yeah.
I would say out of all the people that I speak to in the industry, and I think I speak to 4 of them, you would certainly be the person that I would recognise as having the most discipline to spend time on the business rather than in it.
Yeah.
And I see that in also just in the progress that you've made in the last handful of years.
Yeah, interesting. That's nice to know. Thank you.
I got a message from your team though. They said more time in the business, mate.
More time in business. I think they're enjoying having me back on site, and I think that it was a necessary thing that had to happen for us to go through that next growth stage and period. Personally, for everyone, for me as well, it's like when you're in the business and you're working with everyone, you start to we have absolute cohesion now. And this is funny too. Like Eric is fast and loose. Eric was fast and loose. His background in the industry, he's been doing it for nearly 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
That's polishing concrete.
Yeah.
And plus he was a concreter. And then Tom's come from an IT background. And Tom is like, man, I love Tom. The way his brain works, he just breaks everything down. Like you can't, if I call him to ask about what he's just done and it's like sealing a step, like he's going to really break down on like where the brush touched on the step and like everything. And then I call Eric and Eric's like, got the job done, boss. And so the last couple of months, I'm like, how can I make Eric be more like Tom and Tom more like Eric? And it's so funny because it happened. It happened on the last project that we're on where we were doing big meters and we were all together and like there was this massive shift in culture and dynamic in the team. And I was like, oh my God, we did it.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, we did it. And then, So, it's exciting. It's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really, it's been really for us. It's been a real, a real honor to watch. And to be able to see that because we've known you since you were
little kid. Yeah.
Knee high to a grasshopper.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I think I definitely I came into the industry at a good time and I've not always, but generally had enthusiasm for what I do. So just like timing was right with the industry. And one thing I'll note, I said it before, is we have a lot of access to incredible information via our phones. So tap into that if you want to learn things. Like we have a lot of time behind the grinder. I would say that the business for me has just been like it's been a massive personal growth journey. It's like the more that I learn and the more that I can let go of certain stages of the business and let go of the control and bring other people in and like grow internally, the more that I can step out of the position that I was once in and then move into the next one.
Yep.
But you said that to me one day. That just clicked.
Really?
Yeah, you did. You said that you want to grow out of your position and bring someone into the position that you're in.
Absolutely. Make myself redundant.
Yeah. Yeah. That's correct. That was the terminology, to make yourself redundant. And I think that because I reflect on things, I realize that's what has happened with the business, and whether I've liked it at times, like say with the kids, like having them 50% of the time and having to walk away from a project at a critical time to go and pick your kids up from school. And you're like, oh, I do not want this guy on the grinder right now. Like, just like get off my grinder. And you just have to walk away. Yeah. And you just, I just felt that feeling then. You're just like, have the grinder. Have the grinder. Yeah. But now it's like, that's what it's all about. It's like letting go of that control and like, what else can I focus on? Like, how can I create an environment for my team members to thrive in?
And then they grow.
That it's happening in front of my eyes. Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah. One thing I'll touch on as well. I don't know. I've got a lot to say. It's weird. There's so much thinking time behind those grinders.
Yeah.
I did assist training last weekend, So applied suicide intervention and skills training.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Tell us about that.
Yeah, major sponsor of the I Got You Foundation, which is a foundation that was founded when Josh Clark, he committed suicide, and I was mutually acquainted with Josh. And his two younger sisters and mum started the I Got You Foundation. The last 2 years, I really aligned with them because I was going through my own mental health issues with my separation, and they put me through this assist training as a part of like being a sponsor. They're trying to get people in the trade industry to be open and honest and to have conversations about their mental health. And it blew my mind. It was about having a framework to identify people who may be struggling and who may be thinking about committing suicide, to be able to ask them directly if that's on their mind, and then being able to hear out the story and help them find, so not tell them to find, but help them find a point of hope or find something that they're looking forward to, or to acknowledge that maybe they're not in a good mental state at the moment, and then helping them find a turning point and putting a safety plan in place so that suicide isn't something that happens. So it was intensive. It was emotionally draining, and it was challenging, but a really empowering 2 days for me to now feel as though I could intervene if someone was considering, or if someone thought that taking their own life was the best option. So why I bring that up is because when you're a leader, people look up to you, and you have you don't have a responsibility for how they feel, but it's important that you are able to help them through struggles, or at least to be able to identify them. And I think that because there is a cultural shift happening at the moment in the industry around drinking, around health and fitness, around all these sorts of things. I personally think there is, where like a lot of people are taking agency and responsibility for how they feel. I think it's important for anybody in the construction industry, in our industry, if you're in a position of leadership, if you're looked up to, that you go and do this training. Yeah. So you guys could probably do it. You should probably put some of your employees through it as well.
I don't think I'm quite at that level yet though, but I'd still do it.
The training. The leadership.
Where would we find more information about this?
So information, it's funny. I'm actually, that's one of the cool things about having a bit of a brand and having a platform. I'll be putting a video out on this soon with links and resources, but the I Got You Foundation, they're awesome. They're a good place to tap into straight away. There's actually a heap of resources for the construction industry that people aren't even privy to. So it's funny because when I was at the training, I felt as though we, as someone in the trade industry or in the construction industry, there wasn't a lot of support for us. But they're like, have a look at this sheet. And there's like 35 companies.
Where is that stuff promoted?
Well, there's a real disconnect between organizations on the fringe or like just outside of our view.
Yeah.
And then being like on the boots, like on the ground, and trying to create that connection. And it's like, I was so inspired and G'd up after the training where I was like, I need to make change. Like I need to connect these people, and like, I want to help, and I want to help all these people. And I got home and remembered that I run a business and that, I got home and I remembered what my priorities are, and my priorities are clear. It's my kids, it's my business, and it's my health. And I'm like, I truly do not have time to do that. Like I can't just drop what I'm doing and make a full commitment, because I had a lot of ideas on how I could benefit the I Got You Foundation and how I could get people in the industry to step up and do this training. And then I thought to myself, even if I stopped right now and poured all of my resources into it, and poured all this time into making change and trying to get people to educate themselves and to be more open and to do the right things and look after their health, I'm just a speck. I'm a speck. But if everybody as a collective can just do a little bit, it completely 100% outweighs anything that I can do as an individual. And my goal and my vision is like, if I can get my company to a position where I'm sustainable financially, where people are thriving in the company, where they have responsibility, they're feeling fulfilled, maybe in the future I can step up and do things like that. But it's not my time. It's not my time. I've done enough and I do enough. I'm open and honest enough and I'm confident in that. So it's like, can some other people maybe step up and
you've just said it now. I mean, that's however many people are listening, how many more people are now aware of these resources and organizations?
That's correct.
So, taking action doesn't always mean that you have to drop everything that you do.
That's right. And it's not even the most high leverage play. It's like it would be silly to. Why should I take on that responsibility when people can just do a little bit and it's going to have a higher level of impact?
I agree. That's what we're all here for, isn't it? Why are you looking at me like that, Jake? All right. You want me to maybe I should start coming into this work. So these are really important issues.
Absolutely.
And like you said, previously, I mean, you spend a lot of time on a grinder as well. And it's not the only trade that's a challenge. And it's not the only trade that you can feel really isolated in. And I kind of feel like the building or the construction industry at the moment is probably, from that type of thing, the pressures and the disconnect between the trades is probably worse. To me, when I go to site, it looks the worst it's been from a pressure on site. And I remember when I was on the tools all the full time, there were projects that you would go to where you would know that working with this particular building company meant that you were working as a team to build something.
Correct.
And when you went to this building company over here, you knew that you were going to get ridden for your contract and all the things that you had to do. And everyone on that site didn't care about each other because they were so stressed about what they had to deliver in the timeframes that they were given, and nobody looked after each other. And, as a floor grinding guy, because everyone needs to be on that thing that you've got to finish because they've got to do all the overhead works and they've got to do all the, the plastering and the electrical and all that sort of stuff, and everyone needs to walk on the floor. So you get a really good understanding of what a site's like and what the pressures are, and you know what it's like. And they used to be an anomaly, and now it's almost the norm.
Now, why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
Yeah,
it's a good question. I mean, I've got my own reasons, but you spend more time on them.
No, I think, and I ask you that because you gave me the answer before, was a lot of things now are based off a model in a computer. And it's like, how cheap can we do this job to win this job? That's not me saying that. That's a building company going to tender. Like the construction industry has just been dragged through mud. Let's face it. After COVID, it's been dragged through mud. People are out there getting whipped. Major companies are going under. I think it was like 28,000 small businesses had gone broke since the back end of COVID.
Wow.
People are like out there struggling. There's not a lot of work. Like we went through a 3-month period of each tender, all of these building companies were reaching out, but none of them had work. So whereas normally people are like, got the job, what's the price? Let's go. And these companies just kept reaching out. Can you price this? Can you price this? Can you price this? Can you price this? And I'm like, what's going on? None of them had work. Everyone's in competition against each other to win a job. This is not commercial. This is residential. It's like people are out there and they're struggling. They're trying to find work. And so we're probably going through that now, just starting to come out of it, I think. But where people were hustling just to survive, prices are down low, too much power to the client, which is okay. You want an empowered client, but you don't want businesses in there under pressure, trying to deliver on a product, not making money, creating. Why are people in the trade industry struggling? And it's like, because right now the environment is against us, and it's hard to create a good culture when business owners haven't got the work in front of them or the money behind them to create a good culture, maybe. Yeah. So
just to increase stress levels.
Yeah.
And the other thing that comes with building under those types of pressures is you build an environment of a team that's under a lot of stress, and they don't perform at their best.
Yeah.
And if they're not performing at their best, guess what the once empowered client gets? They get a really crappy product at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
And like, to me, there's so many levels to this. We've got this in the out there in the ether. There's this whole, we need to look after the environment. Well, if the environment is so important to us, why are we building structures that aren't going to last?
Yeah.
With teams that basically couldn't put into them what need to be put into them to ensure that they'd be sustainable.
Yep.
And then what is the point of that as well if we're not acknowledging the value of everyone who put the thing together, and to acknowledge the value. I'm going to have some real issues coming up shortly. And to acknowledge the value of everyone there also means to acknowledge the stresses that they're working under in order to deliver. And then you talk about the impact of mental health in construction industry or in every industry. What are we doing? I mean, we're catching that at the back end. We're creating an environment or a culture that creates it and then you're trying to create a cost on the backside of that to try and save the people, stop them from walking off a ledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
the environment for building and construction. Like I'm very grateful that the dad did polished concrete flooring and he wasn't a builder. I'd hate to be a chippy. Like it's competitive. It's like super cutthroat and ruthless, and it's really difficult for people in the industry at the moment. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a whole lot more to say about it, but yeah.
My thing is always to go to the cause.
Yeah.
Right. We're seeing this type of thing become, really common in our culture in the construction industry. My thing's always, where is it coming from?
Yeah. So I guess if you think, where is it coming from? It would be the red tape, the bureaucracy, the BAs getting approved on building, the amount of time it takes to build, the supply and demand for housing, the amount of people who want houses, the amount of people who can afford a house, which touches on the whole bigger picture of our economy and all those sorts of things. And I don't think it's in a terrific place. I guess the stock market is, and it keeps going up, but the reality of it is a lot of people in our industry are struggling. A lot of builders are struggling. And I think some people, there's a big shift happening right now where there's a lot of people who are struggling, but there's also a new wave of people who are getting a real foothold in the market too.
Well, it's always going to create, that's the competition aspect you talk about before.
Oh, so this is life. This is history. This is just the standard story.
Well, yeah, it is and it isn't, right? Because it's a standard story. It's a cycle, yes.
Yeah.
It's an economic cycle.
Yeah.
But I think, like you were touching on before, that you can only do so much as one person.
Yes.
Right. when you have a change in an economic cycle, and the one that we've got right now is probably different to one than we've ever seen as far as navigating through it.
Yeah.
But we're seeing the effects. There's, like you said, there were how many organisations on that piece of paper that you could contact?
Oh, yeah.
That weren't required 30 years ago.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe there were. Maybe I'm just ignorant. But
yeah.
There's at least 30 there.
Yeah.
And the one that you shared with us was a result of an outcome that was, that created that, right?
Yeah.
And I would suspect that the other 30 on there are pretty similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing a bunch of shifts here.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, this is going to be the new landscape moving forward. But if that's what it's going to look like, we also need a workforce, which is made up of regular, everyday human beings.
Yeah.
Right? Not robots, not just numbers, which is all that we're looking at one level.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we even prepare the workforce to be able to play that new game? Because we can't afford to lose any of them.
Yeah.
It's just,
no. Yeah, we can't. And not sure. The best way forward with it.
Well, I kind of feel like you've got to name who's responsible in order to fix the problems. It can't always come down to this level too far down the down the road that we're trying to deal with the problem.
Yeah,
you've kind of got to. Okay, where the pressures come from? How do we remove the pressures? How do we correct the direction? And how do we equip everyone in the link?
Yeah, which is by education, information.
So that's
honesty,
why
transparency. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, really, that's the cultural shift. It is. Yeah, I think by people being informed, being educated. The culture that we're building is based off profit and numbers. And how do we create a better culture? I think we create a better culture by people who are in a position of leadership or who run a company or who understand their values or their value proposition to the market.
Yeah.
They hold strong to what they will and won't do for what price. Because if you stay strong to your values and you stay strong to your pricing, you get to continue to create a good environment for your team, for your business, for your community. And rather than people struggling at work, people are in a workplace where they feel fulfilled. When people feel fulfilled and passionate about their job, and they feel as though when they take pride in their job, when they do have that good culture or good environment, then they're empowered to do really good quality work. And the flow-on effect is people in the construction industry who are proud of what they do, who go home happy, who go home to their kids happy, who go home to their wife happy, who hold themselves in high regard. And it's important. So I guess that's a really important thing for me to understand based off this conversation. And it's like,
so there's a flow-on effect.
There's a flow-on effect. Yeah.
And even if we're only talking about the microcosm that is construction industry, we're building more than just a building.
Yeah.
We're building tomorrow's future as well. Like you say, you're building an empowered team. They're going back home feeling fulfilled, which means that they're going to be a better parent, better partner to their spouse.
Yeah.
The knock-on effect is the kids growing up in a lower stress environment.
Yeah.
And then we're building a generation for, even if you only want to look at it from a numbers perspective, we're building a better generation for our country. If we're looking at it from a grassroots, we want to build better families.
Yeah.
But if you're only looking at it from a political perspective, you've still got to maintain that margin there effectively at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's I hadn't thought about all of that a lot, and to have that conversation was like, I felt a little bit out of depth with it. But when you bring it full circle and when you think about the responsibility and impact and flow-on effect of being an employer, it's
big one.
It's actually, it's a big one. It is a big one. And I think that I'm proud of our culture. So I'm glad that we can at least be doing our part in that. I think it's good.
I think you're doing a great job from the outside. From the outside looking in. Hey, look, even the way that you present physically as a specimen, right? You can tell, right? And the rest of your guys, I've worked with them. They've been here.
Yeah.
What a refreshing bunch,
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, and we get to work with a lot of different, a lot of different walks here as well.
Yeah,
and it's always, when you guys turn up, there's a lot of gags going on. Everyone's having a good time, and that sort of stuff. And you guys, I know that you grow through all the challenges together.
Yeah,
so it's not just about everything being easy and good. It's you guys have been able to lean on each other when you need to.
Oh, absolutely. It's not that everything's easy and good and everything's perfect. It's that our attitudes and our culture towards those things are good. So it's like, it doesn't really matter what gets thrown at us. We'll overcome it or work through it. And if anything was to ever happen to one of the boys or to our team members, like I'd be there for them to work through that. And that's culture. That's it's good. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And that also goes back to everything that you said before about the building of your brand and the social connection and everything, how important it is. And I think you recognize that in everything you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I've got a few other questions that are about connecting and,
What do you got?
These are just some really lighthearted questions to finish off this great podcast. What kind of coffee guy are you?
Oh, I go a large oat cap.
A large oat cap.
Yeah, I love oat milk. I don't know what it is. I don't have any issues with normal milk, but like I'm addicted to my coffees. Even when I'm like trying to be good with my diet. Like,
is that not good with your diet?
Oh, I don't know. I might drink 2 coffees a day generally, but like I get excited to get my coffee.
Okay, something that people wouldn't know about you.
Ooh, what wouldn't people know about me? Everything.
Everything.
Like you guys know my brand. Like if you watch it, I guess you've learned a lot about me now. But like, you don't really know someone until you're in their head, and we don't have the privy to be inside other people's heads. What am I? Do
you have a secret hobby?
A secret hobby. I love fishing. I love being, I haven't done much fishing this year. I like being active. I like to be moving. So
you've got an injury at the moment.
Yeah, I've got tendinopathy in my hip flexor. So inflammation and strain of the ligament due to overuse.
Is that from fishing?
No, it's from
a very strange style.
Other extracurricular activities. No, it's from what? It's from running. It's not just running. It's from going to the gym. I do like functional fitness training. So I was doing a lot of like deadlifts and box jumps, and then doing lots of runs. And it's so funny when you work with like a coach. It's in a team environment, not one-on-one coaching. But when you work with a coach, they'll have a schedule for you, and like you don't get injured. And when you stray from it and you start doing all your own stuff, you can get injuries. So it's straining the hip at the moment, which I'm rehabbing each day, and hopefully I can go out and start running again and do another injury.
Oh, sorry, man, but if you're going to be running, that's what's going to be happening. It's such an unnatural behavior.
Yeah, it's too good. I really enjoy running. I think I got to change my relationship with it though a little bit. I've been thinking about that since I've been injured. Like rather than trying to run run fast and long distances, fast is subjective. Like fast for me, like rather than pushing myself all the time, is like just slow down a little bit. I might start doing some more like hill running. And
can you do that?
run up hills.
No,
or slow down. Yeah, I can slow down. I do one thing that you don't know about me. Every morning I wake up, I do minimum of 10 minutes of breath work and meditation. I actually sit out on my deck. It's been -7 this week in Canberra. I've been out on my deck in my undies doing breath work and meditation every morning.
What can you tell us what breath work is, or is that we have to pay for that?
No. So what's breath work? So obviously we all breathe, but for me, it's being consciously connected to your breath. So in times of stress, in times of even when you're tired, you can regulate your emotional system and your system by becoming conscious of your breath. So when you are you want to upregulate, it's more inhalation of breath. But then when you want to downregulate and calm down, you want to do exhalation of breath. So like I said, I went through struggles through my separation, and I went and did this big breathwork experience with Jamie Sangster, and he's incredible. He's a breathwork master, and it was 45 minutes of breathwork. It was actually 3 hours, but 45 minutes of deep breath work. There was 30 people in the room, and I would say that 90% of the people in the room were hysterically crying and emotionally breaking down. And why I laugh and why I mention it is that you drop out of your parasympathetic system. So, and I'm still learning about this, but you drop out of your conscious brain and you get into your heart, you get in touch with your true self, and you work through and push out all of the struggles, all of the hurt, pain, things that have happened in your life. And after that experience that happened just through breath work, I sort of made a commitment to myself that I think it's important to be touching in with myself each day by regulating my system, by just checking in and by checking in and creating a better relationship with myself internally. So yeah, that's a big part of my life at the moment. Not necessarily breath work, but when I say health, I mean mental health. I mean what's success to me? What's health to me? It's what's my relationship with myself? And breath work has really helped me, and fitness has really helped me have a better relationship with myself internally. Yeah.
Far out.
Wait, and Paul Warner?
Yes.
Man, I love him. Hey, I want to talk to you. He was your conversation was inspiring. I was like, this dude is so unapologetically himself. He just wore who he was on his chest. And it's awesome. He had his own passions. He had things that were important to him. Yeah, that guy, that was awesome, man. And I'm sort of like that now as well. I've had stages of my life where I haven't held myself how I want to hold myself, and I haven't been or presented myself how I want to present myself. And I haven't got time for that anymore. It's I am who I am. I'm open, I'm honest, transparent, and you either do or you don't align with that. So yeah.
Far out, man. Well, you're an extraordinary human being, man. I've got to say. And thank you so much for coming and sharing just a snippet of yourself with us.
Yeah.
We're also going to share the links and help promote because we think we're all part of the problem. We can all be part of the solution. So
fantastic, awesome. Thank you to you personally for helping guide my journey, for providing the most incredible tooling.
That's not me personally, man.
Thank you.
That's a team.
Thank you to Works Plus. Thank you to Tim. Incredible organization, company. Thank you to Milan. It's you guys are directly supporting my vision for the company. You're directly creating cool diamond tooling underneath machines.
It's what you do with it.
And it's creating a better life for me. It's creating a better life for my kids. It's creating a better life for my employees. And I'm really, really proud to be associated with you guys. So
Mate, we just make the battery. It all depends on what you hook it up to.
I really do appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
You too, man. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Legend.
This show is proudly supported by Works Plus. Works Plus brings total solutions to all concrete grinding and polishing contractors to make it totally work for their daily operations. We hope you've enjoyed this show. Make sure to tune in each week where we're going to dive deep into all things related to concrete grinding and polishing. We're here to help you so that you can boost your outcomes on the floor.